Hello everyone, MS here.
In this and the following video, I will continue to post the material that was filmed in September 2015 during my Ukrainian trip. After returning from the Chernobyl exclusion zone, I spent a couple of days recovering, then held a meetup where I met a pretty smart girl from Kyiv. I'll add that now everyone will rush to marry her, but alas, she's not my type, so between us it's only wild. Well, and a little bit of Rufa. Nevertheless, we had a great time exploring all sorts of classic spots, and here's what awaits you in this and the next video. Today we'll visit the wine cellar near the intermediate vestibule of Arsenalna metro station. Then we'll head to the Podilsky-Voskresensky bridge. From there, we'll go underground into the Peschersk water conduit. We'll decide to greet the sunrise at the top of the southern bridge. And wanting to get a closer look at Kyiv's underground, we'll visit two interesting places in the Kyiv metro. The ghost station Lvivska Brama and the so-called canned abandoned interstation tunnels. There's something to tell about each of the places we visited, both in terms of history and technology. So no sighs or exclamations, just information and stripes. Let's go. There's a small problem, of course. We're in Kyiv, and I'm a citizen of the Russian Federation. If we get caught in the West, that would be unfortunate, but that also adds a certain edge to the experience. Well, the infiltration operation went more than perfectly and significantly faster than we had initially expected. We are now heading directly into the collector area. Beautiful. Simply beautiful. The tubes in the table are going down. 50 kilograms of counterweight, harnesses, ropes. Well, apparently, yes, that's some kind of rope with a counterweight. Looks like something is suspended. Okay, we're going down. All right, well, I mean... Easy, just easy, easy.
Honestly, I'm not comfortable at all. Are we really doing this quietly?
Yes. So, what's the exit from here? We came here to crawl with big backpacks, and I just have all my filming gear with me. So you always have to keep in mind that you might have some protruding parts that could get caught on something. This disc-shaped thing, that was to be expected. And if the gap had been higher, I would have been hanging there like an idiot, just holding on with my hands. It got pushed in different directions, so be careful, guys. Alright, comrades, now we're heading into the disc. We're going down the shaft. Try not to make too much noise. Take note of the year on the tubing. 1956. That's literally... Our metro in St. Petersburg had only been running for a year at that point, so this is actually a pretty old mine. And the best part, what's really nice, is that it's made of cast iron. Those who aren't familiar with this probably don't really understand what it's about.
He gets what the deal is, but cast iron is way cooler than concrete curing patterns. It has a relief texture, and in photos it gives a much more pleasant pattern and texture. And honestly, cast iron is just cool. It's expensive. And well, it's not used everywhere precisely because of how expensive it is. So, there's something unique about it. Look at these ribs. And most importantly, cast iron with lead caulking holds water very well and is used where hydrodynamics are poor. So, tunnels lined with cast iron touring segments will be drier. But here, as we can see, there are no leaks at all. Let's keep going down. Having left the heavy, large and cumbersome backpack at the top, we crawled through countless openings downward and ended up at this intermediate stage. We are now, let's say, in the inner chambers of the Arsenalna metro station. The station is very deep because the hill rises very steeply upward. Accordingly, to get down to the trams, a passenger needs to go down one long escalator, walk through a small connecting corridor, and then descend another long escalator. This shaft has brought us to the level of the connecting corridor. The story of how this shaft appeared is even more interesting. As I already mentioned, Arsenalna station has two escalator sections. That is, you enter the vestibule, go down an escalator to the intermediate vestibule, walk through it, and then take another escalator that brings you down to the station itself. It is located so deep that there was simply no other option. The industry did not produce escalators long enough to manage with just one section. Now about the intermediate vestibule itself. Geological surveys showed that building it using traditional metro construction methods would be very difficult. A large number of quicksands would have caused a very strong inflow of water. As a result, they decided to take an unconventional approach. In fact, it was all quite simple. Build the dome of the intermediate vestibule on the surface and lower it down. Yes, to bury a dome that weighs 3,500 tons. So how did they do it? You'll find out now. Let's take a look at the diagram. In May 1958, a 4-meter deep pit was dug on the surface of the ground at the spot where the dome was supposed to appear. And by the fall of that year, a monolithic reinforced concrete vestibule in the shape of a bell without a bottom was constructed in it.
Along the perimeter of the lower part of this bell, a structure made of channel bars was assembled, resembling a knife. Around the construction site, 400 boreholes were drilled, which were used to freeze the soil throughout the entire area. During its construction, the vestibule itself stood on special supports. And once all the work was finished, the supports were removed. A hard-working excavator was left under the bell, which removed the soil, and the bell, under its own weight, sliced through the earth with its knife-like edges and descended downward. The soil was extracted through an opening in the vestibule's roof. After it went below ground level, the openings were sealed and the technology changed. Now, the excavated soil was released into a pre-drilled shaft. It would fall down, and from there, it was transported by a belt conveyor located in the transport tunnel to the skip hoist. And then it was lifted to the surface through the mine shaft. It was down this very shaft that we descended. In the photo, you can clearly see the not yet finished intermediate vestibule, and that very mine shaft behind it. The soil brought to the surface was dumped onto the roof of the vestibule. This increased the pressure on the dome, causing it to sink even further down, and in a rather controversial manner. As a result, in less than 4 months after the descent began, the vestibule was lowered to its design depth and its blades touched the pre-cast concrete ring, the cast concrete ring. After that, the bottom of the vestibule was concreted and construction of the lower inclined passage began. But that is no longer part of our story. After hearing this story, I think you'll look at this shaft differently now. Well, now let's go back underground and see what we found there. Let's move a little further from the moment we arrived at this level. By design, any metro facility must be protected from water ingress from above. For this purpose, there are hermetic seals, or hermas as they are sometimes called. In this case, one of the corridors is separated by 2 massive hermetic doors. One of them doesn't really move upward, but the other one, I've already checked, moves quite a bit. Impressive? Let's try to test its width a little. Well, you can pump it up a bit.
It gives way.
Yeah, let's say you could work out your biceps here. The main thing is that it doesn't break over time. So, after going up past these hermetic doors, we basically end up at a wooden door. Behind this wooden door, people walk by without even suspecting that there are 2 wild explorers here. Very curious fellows who decided to find out how everything works inside. Let's take a look at the people walking by, completely unaware of anything.
Not suspecting a thing. There goes some feet over there. Lovely feet of Kyiv women. And the tired feet of Kyiv residents after a shift. Although what shift? It's only 2:45 p.m. outside. Well, someone's going somewhere for some reason. Life goes on, and we are just a little bit outside the bounds of that life. That's the philosophy here.
In connection with the current situation in Ukraine, of course, things are a bit complicated. There's a kind of tightening of the screws going on, and the passages, entrances, and routes that diggers used to use, for many years now they've been getting sealed up, welded shut, and so on. All right. So what's up? Yeah, is the camera rolling? Are we jumping out? Yeah, let's do it. Let's jump out. Here, take this. 1. Hold the camera. All right. Backpack. While we're jumping out, I'll say a few words. First of all, right now we're in the middle of a pretty intense infiltration, but for the safety of the site, that doesn't really matter, because according to information from Kyiv diggers, by the time this video is being edited, everything there has already been sealed up tight and no one has been there for about 2 years. And secondly, as practice has shown, climbing up 50 meters, jumping out, and immediately trying to say something on camera without being out of breath is just impossible. But that's how it is. Situations can be different.
Guys, filming wasn't an option. It was just the sound. Just the sound was recorded. It didn't work out because when I was doing a bit of destruction at the entry point...
We ran into a few workers.
Yeah, just a few dedicated, hard-working workers.
But everything went smoothly.
They, one might say, really should have been quite upset, but regrettably we did not manage to fully capture their immediate reaction because in that particular moment we were moving a little bit too fast, unfortunately. So guys, that's the kind of fun we have. That's how I'm spending my vacation in Kyiv. Some people go to the sea, I go underground.
Stick around, like and subscribe to the channel.